Just when I thought there's no hope left for the Saw franchise, they give us this. What's going on, guys? Welcome to my spoiler-free review of Saw 10. I know, I can't believe we are in the 10th movie in this franchise. The last handful of movies, I just didn't get that John Kramer feel that I got in the first handful of movies. And it felt like a departure from what Saw started out as. But this movie is the one I've been waiting for. It's technically Saw 10, but it should be Saw 2 because it happened right after the first one, but before the second one. Which is really cool because there are bits and pieces of John Kramer's story that I felt still needed to be explored. Like, there were little bits of information that I still needed to really understand him, and this movie does all of that. So in this one, John Kramer has just discovered that he's got cancer and he's looking for treatments. He's trying to deal with the fact that he has a short amount of time to live, and he finds this experimental treatment in Mexico that is claiming to work miracles and turn your stage 4 cancer into remission, and he goes seeking it out, only to find out that it is a bunch of scammers and there's no treatment after all. But little do they know, they've scammed the wrong guy. Now, what I find interesting about the Saw movies, and when I say Saw movies, I'm going to say like the first 5 of them, you had this kind of connection with John Kramer where he's kind of like that anti-villain. You don't want to root for him, but part of you does root for him because the people that he's punishing or torturing, they kind of deserve it, kind of don't. You're unsure of whether or not this is the right thing to do. But this one takes us back to the beginning, and really it builds on an emotion toward John Kramer and his journey through this cancer, and you're actually rooting for him. For me, it took me from anti-villain to, okay, I'm fully sympathetic with this guy. I can see why he's doing it. These people kind of deserve it. But it's also kind of cool because, again, we're back to John Kramer teaching these people a lesson. So they do have a chance to get out of these traps. If you follow the rules and are quick enough to beat the timer, the trap will open, you can live, go on with your life, hope you learned your lesson. Does that always happen? Nah. What's really cool is that, obviously, since this is kind of taking us back to the beginning of the franchise where things are, I guess we'll call them a little more primitive and not so refined, John Kramer's actually there watching the games and giving them the instructions himself. It's not just, oh, he locked them in a room with a tape and they have to go along with what's said on the cassette tape. He's actually in the window of this warehouse watching it all go down, making sure they follow the rules, and even goes and interacts with them a little bit. So I like that rather than just seeing a shadow of him after the fact or a little bit here, a little bit there. He was very involved with the capturing, setting up the machines, watching them try to get out of him. And the whole time he is still training Amanda on taking over his spot when he dies. And she's a little leery still. She's still just getting the hang of things. But it's cool to see her there and learning the process and even getting a little bit emotionally attached to one of the victims because it kind of ties into some of her past. Not like all Saw movies, there's tons of blood and gore and guts and far out traps and things that you gotta do. But let's not overlook the twists and turns because there are those too. There is a twist at the end that I should have saw coming as a Saw fan, but I got so wrapped up into what was happening at the moment that I completely overlooked some of these things. And when they happened, I was like, oh, I should have seen that. Then again, I can't call it a major twist. It's just some things that make more sense when you realize John Kramer's 10 steps ahead of you. And then we pull these people in or do this, then it's like, okay, that dude's smart. Honestly, I can't think of anything bad to say about this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's exactly what I wanted. It brought me back to the beginning. I got that John Kramer-esque feel, however you want to word it. Makes me feel for this guy. I'm rooting for him. And it even left the ending open for another prequel, which I hope they do. If you've seen Saw 10, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button on your way out.